This video will go over the events in the first 2 seasons of the anime. I watched it so you don't have to. Sit back and relax and enjoy the video. The story starts off with a boy named Rin Okamaru, who was raised as an adopted child in the church. His adoptive father, Shiro Fujimoto, is the lead priest of the church and has looked after Rin from the moment that he was born. Rin returns from home after a night out fighting local thugs, which causes his father to give him a lecture on how he should be a responsible person. He ends up offering Rin an opportunity to get a job at his friend's local restaurant, and despite Rin believing that he is ill-equipped to being able to hold a job down, he accepts his father's offer and goes to the interview. On his way to the interview, he sees some thugs who he was acquainted with, but something is a bit off with their aura. As he looks closely at the group, he notices a bunch of black tar surrounding them and a change in his appearance, with horns sprouting from his head. As he is being distracted by the leader, as he babbles on about thinking that it's appropriate to kill pigeons, the other 2 thugs grab Rin and pin him down. The leader then takes a knife out of his pocket and puts it towards Rin's head, threatening to hurt him. And before either of them could realize, Rin bursts into flames. The other one, which Rin confirms is a demon, states that he's been looking for Rin and that he has the flames of Satan. He exclaims that Satan is waiting for Rin, and before anything else could be said, we hear a voice in the background stating that the boy has been possessed as he is evil, and that's why he is in that state. Father Shiro then saves Rin and exorcises the demon that attacked Rin. He then explains that there are 2 worlds, Asia, which is the world that they live in, and Gehenna, where the demons come from. Humans are incapable of passing over to Gehenna, but demons are capable of coming over to Asia through material objects. Father Shiro then takes Rin back to the church, saying that Rin must hide, and he explains that he is none other than Satan's son. He then gives Rin a sword, which is known as the Koma sword, and that if Rin draws it, he'll release all of his latent powers and he'll never be able to revert back to human ever again. In all of this confusion, Rin begins to get upset, saying that Father Shiro is abandoning him and that he was only playing to be his father, which made Shiro very upset. Due to this brief moment of emotional instability, Satan was able to possess Shiro's body. Satan then tries to kidnap his own son by summoning the gates of Gehenna, but Rin destroys these gates by unleashing his flames and escapes with his life. Unfortunately, Father Shiro dies as Satan's presence deteriorates any bodies he possesses. At Father Shiro's funeral, a mysterious man who claims to be a friend of his appears before Rin, saying that he is a part of the Knight of the True Cross. Before Shiro passed over, he told Rin that there is a man called Mephisto and he will be taking him in, but the man states that Rin either has to die or he must kill them to survive. But Rin decides to take a third option, saying that he wants to join them and become an exorcist. Upon enrolling at True Cross Academy, he finds out that his twin brother, Yukio, is not only a representative for new students, but also his demon pharmaceutical teacher. He explains that he has been able to see demons from his birth, as he was exposed to demon blood from his older brother. From the age of 7, he has been training to be an exorcist and was dubbed the youngest ever exorcist. He explains that he wants to be a strong exorcist, strong enough to protect his brother, the one that was always protecting him. Getting accustomed to the life of an exorcist, Rin and Yukio go out on a few errands, which includes restocking Yukio's supplies. As such, he goes to an exorcism supply store, which is where Rin meets a young girl called Sheimi Moriyama. Despite her young appearance, she is unable to use her feet. Ever since the death of her grandmother, she has spent most of her time in the garden, tending to what they both built. Sheimi discusses a land called the Garden of Amahara, which is where God gathered all the world's plants, and that she has the ambition to go there one day. After a bit of investigating by Rin, they find out that she is possessed by a parasitic demon, which leaves her unable to walk. The 2 of them, Rin and Yukio, exorcise the curse easily, giving Sheimi the freedom to walk once again. She later joins the same class as Rin in hopes of getting stronger and to help those around her. In further episodes, we meet characters such as Ryuji Suguru, Kone Komaru, Miwa, and Renzo Shima, who were all once based in Kyoto, but were left struck after the Blue Night. This event claimed many people due to the mark of Satan, and left Suguru with a deep hatred towards Satan himself. He vows, similar to Rin, that he'll be the one to slay Satan, and that's why he studies as hard as he does in order to achieve his dreams. Due to Rin's lineage, he has been forced to keep his identity secret and has avoided to take out his sword. Unfortunately for him, an instance where Mephisto decided to disclose his information to a teacher, Igor, led to himself and other students being in danger. We learn that Igor was one of the survivors of the Blue Night, where Satan attempted to take over his body, leading to him losing an eye and several of his friends. After learning who Rin is, he begins to put his life at risk and decides that he will never forgive him due to who he is. After meeting Kuro, Father Shiro's trusted familiar, and befriending him, Rin and his class are assigned a mission where they have to exorcise a curse in True Cross amusement park. However, once there, Rin meets Amaimon, a green-haired person who tells Rin that he is there only to play with him and steals his sword. Yamada, the hooded member of their class, comes to Rin's rescue as Amaimon threatens to break his sword given to him by his his father to unleash his power. Yamada then removes the sword from their chest, which causes Amaimon to leave the scene. Yamada then reveals himself to being none other than Shura Kirigakure, a first-class exorcist. She then begins to interrogate Rin, asking what he plans on doing with his life, and states that he is the reason why Shura died in the first place, which was her tutor. Rin proclaims that he's going to become a paladin, one of the strongest exorcists, which is what Shura was before he passed away. This makes Shura laugh, saying that instead of reporting Rin's existence to True Cross, she's going to look after him, as she was asked to do by Shiro, suggesting anything bad was to happen to him. Once again, the class embark on a trip where they are tasked to exorcise demons within the area. Due to Rin's outburst against Amaimon, Shiro confiscates Rin's Komo sword and states that he needs to learn how to control his temper before he's given back his sword. Rin, due to his lack of experience, loses his temper again, letting out an azure flame, which unfortunately was untimely as his classmate Ryuji was nearby when he unleashed it. After finding out that Ryuji did not see anything but a blue light, the group gather at the lantern, which is what they were tasked to move. During this process, Amaimon shows up in front of the class, which was instructed by Mephisto, but luckily they escape back to the camp, where Shura casts a circle ensuring that Amaimon, king of the earth, cannot enter. Unfortunately, Shamie was infected by a parasite which allowed Amaimon to control her, which causes the entire class, especially Rin, to act frantically and chase him down. Amaimon begins to pick on everyone within the class. As they are cornered, Suguru begins to ask who is Rin, with Rin responding by taking out his camo sword, revealing his blue flames. This leads to Mephisto grabbing both Amaimon and Rin, forcing Amaimon to retreat, but this left Rin unable to control his flames and his emotions. A paladin named Arthur Angel shows up saying that he is also from the Vatican, like Shura, and that they do not trust Mephisto due to his lineage of also being a demon. Before Arthur could slay Rin, Shura comes to his defense, and before anything else could escalate, Arthur is instructed to take both Rin and Mephisto to court to undergo some questioning. This leads them concluding that Rin is only allowed to live, suggesting that he passes his exorcist exam within 6 months. As such, Rin begs Shura to teach him some swordsmanship, which she agrees to do. After the reveal of his heritage, Rin arrives to class and notices that almost no one is there. He is then told that he is no longer learning within the class and that he will be privately tutored by Shura. Rin's training involves him understanding his emotions, controlling them, and as such, being able to better control his flames and their output. If he is able to do so, Shura said that she would return his prized sword back to him. But before he is able to learn anything, they have to embark on a mission, one where Rin will be able to learn and observe from his exorcist seniors. Upon arriving at the scene, they learn from Saburuto Todo that a young boy named Satoru was kidnapped by a masked figure, who we are also told stole a left eye from the impure king. Both Yukio and Todo use their safety suits and enter the scene to try and save Satoru, with Rin following them against their command. After searching for a little while, they find Satoru on the floor and notices the masked man in the background, who vanishes shortly after, dropping the left eye of the impure king. Before they realize, Todo has kicked Yukio on the ground, revealing that he himself is also a demon. He then shortly vanishes after, which leaves Yukio and Rin to meet Shura outside and try and heal the boy as quickly as they can, reuniting him with his mother. They also find Mephisto outside, explains that the real left eye is gone and the one that Rin found is fake, and the same people attempted to steal the right eye as well. As such, Yukio will be needed to ensure that the right eye cannot be taken as well. At the same time, Mephisto has recruited the help of the X-Wires, where they go to Kyoto to try and defend the right eye of the impure king. Rin, along with the other X-Wires, are instructed to travel to Kyoto by train, where Shura explains the story of the impure king, a demon who caused the death of over 40,000 people. He was exorcised by a monk who removed his 2 eyes as proof of his exorcism. However, they still emit gases which are poisonous. She then explains that they do not understand what the goals are of the people who are trying to steal the eyes, but they cannot be up to any good. The tensions are high between the other X-Wires and Rin, as this is the first time that they've seen each other since the incident. Izuku states that it isn't a problem that he is a half demon, as that isn't very uncommon, but the problem is that he is the son of Satan. This causes Suguru and Rin to get into a heated argument on the train about his flames, saying that his family, along with Shima's and Konekomaru's family, all died due to his blue flames. Once XY arrived at Kyoto, Ryuji and the other students from Kyoto are reintroduced to their family. They find out that the inn that they are at is owned by Ryuji's family, which is harboring a lot of injured exorcists that were harmed in the last battle. While all the other XYers are busy trying to tend to the wounded, Rin happened to meet Ryuji's father, and they hit it off very well. He explains that Ryuji is a part of a bloodline of Buddhists who exorcise demons and run the scene within Kyoto. We also happen to see Shura, who is shown the location of the right Rightai, which is kept underground where no demons can access it. The plot then thickens, with Ryuji finding out that the recent incident wasn't just an accident or an attack, but it was an inside job, with everyone being placed under suspicion for aiding the enemy. Due to the accusation of it being an inside job, with the elder of the Hojo family stating that it's likely an inside job, they begin to suspect each other, with the eldest son and daughter of the Hojo and Shima family being a prime suspect due to their connections with Todo, both being his students. However, they quickly turn on to Ryuji's father, where they both state that it looked like he was controlling the flames during the recent incident, and that he is the most likely culprit to be in league with Todo. Despite there being suspicions of the high priest being the traitor, it is shortly revealed after Mamushi Hojo is the traitor. She states that she no longer believes in those above her, stating that Mephisto has been hiding the right eye and that he has also been secretly raising the child of Satan. Suggesting that this is the case, she felt that Todo, who suggested moving the eyes into a better place of keeping, is more appropriate than keeping it under supervision of Mephisto and the high priest, who she believes is ill-equipped to being their higher-ups. While this all is happening, this is being watched by Ryuji, saying that he also thought the same thing after finding out that Rin is actually the son of Satan. Todo then crashes into the underground basement, causing a big distraction, allowing Mamushi to place the right eye into her own, and along with Todo teleporting to another place. Due to the commotion, everybody nearby shows up, including Ryuji's father, and upon seeing his father, he states that he needs to know what he has been hiding, and that everyone else also deserves to know about his allegiance with Mephisto. However, his father keeps tight-lipped, which angers Ryuji to a point where he says that he doesn't want him to be his father. This causes Rin to get very angry, releasing his blue flames as a response. Due to him losing his temper, Shura begins to chant, which tightens a lock around his tail, weakening him. The rest of the Exorcists, including Yukio, begin to have a meeting, saying that if the impure king is placed into a single host, then new gases which have never been discovered will be released, and they suspect that this is what Todo has been planning. However, only the high priest is aware of what exactly will happen, suggesting that the two eyes have been merged. After being imprisoned, Rin wakes up with Shura outside of his cell with a letter addressed to him from Ryuji's father. In this story, he recounts his younger days when he first met Father Fujimoto and how he was the one who stole the Komo sword from the temple, which is governed by the high priest. The father wanted the sword because he said that he needed it to kill a child. Ryuji's father initially resisted, stating that the sword itself had a fire demon, Karuka, sealed within it, which helped the monk from 150 years ago to defeat the impure king, but it's later revealed that the sword itself is actually empty, and despite Ryuji's father believing this and acting on it for many years, he wants to break free from these practices. Meanwhile, Mumashi and Todo have arrived at a sacred location which leads towards a basement. Once they reach the bottom of the stairwell, Todo says to Mamushi to give the eye of the impure king to him. Once they enter the room, they see a large body suspended, which Todo actually explains is the impure king, and once they place the eyes into the husk, this will revive the impure king. And before Todo could kill Mamushi for not being useful anymore, the high priest appears and protects her, saying that the impure king is a cancer and that he will protect everyone from that. We find out that the flame demon, Karuka, who no longer lives within the blade, is the familiar of every head of the Suguru bloodline. This was in exchange for keeping the secret and being deceitful towards others. Despite his efforts with Karuka, Ryuji's father lost easily to Todo, stabbing Ryuji's father in the neck in the process. And given the opportunity, Todo decides to absorb Karuka, the phoenix, amplifying his power. Whilst this goes on, Rin has developed a goal of helping Ryuji's father, so Shura removes the sword from her chest and gives it back to him, but unfortunately Rin is unable to draw the blade as he is afraid of becoming a monster who will hurt his friends. Overcoming his fears with his friends, Ryuji and Rin charge forward towards the impure king, and upon arriving at the scene, they find Ryuji's father laying on the floor, and unfortunately due to his lack of strength, Karuka forms a pact with Ryuji, and he learns the hand signs necessary to form a barrier from his father to keep the impure king inside. As Rin and Ryuji run towards the enemy, they get help from Kuro and advance towards the weak spot of the demon, where Ryuji activates the barrier his father taught him. Rin then later on overcomes his fear of unleashing his powers, and with the help of Akchuzma to control his flames, he unleashes a devastating attack which leads to the destruction of the impure king. However, all the while this is happening, Yukio is fighting Todo, who is taunting him, and at the verge of his death, there is an alteration of his eyes, which intrigues Todo, saying that he isn't as human as he thinks. The conflict ends well, but the relationship between Rin and Yukio may begin to strain as we move on into the story. The second season ends with Shura becoming cautious of Mephisto due to his agenda of putting Rin and his classmates in danger, and the gang moves towards their next turnabout event. Thank you for watching today's video if you've reached this this far. Hopefully this has helped you understand what's going on in Blue Exorcist and has readied you for the next season, which is coming out very soon. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and potentially subscribe, as this will help out the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.